This case is a combination of, it's called Namibia, or more Namibia really. It has the most incredible Bergaucus smithsonite. These spheres just kind of glow. They're absolutely transparent, straight through. You can literally see the matrix in the bottom of these, and they're about more than that. They're exactly 3 centimeters across. So they're large crystals. One of the other most unusual and interesting things about this piece, if you notice in the top corner there, there's rhombohedral smithsonite, so you've got a different habit in the same pocket. So having the two of those together is very rare. So you've got this wonderful lustrous cluster, a string of beads in front with crystals in back. On the back side we have a very dark green, odd variety of smithsonite that I frankly can't quite explain, but it's just a beautiful color. Kind of a mint green. The edges are kind of selectively a lighter mint green coloring of rhombohedral crystals. Here's a smithsonite cast of some sort of, I think this is cadmium smithsonite if I'm not mistaken, which is an unusual variety in and of itself. We have some classic Bergaucus yellow rhombohedral crystals here. Unusual, this is actually a soda straw stalactite smithsonite, which I've never seen or heard of before. It loops around like a horseshoe. It's actually got a hollow center on both ends. There's a soda straw on this piece, so that's fun. This other side here is discloisite from Alphen Bergaucus. It's an unusual mineral. Most people don't even know what it is, never mind care to collect it. It's often called one of those ugly black rocks, but I just love it. We really love it. We acquired this piece first from Dave Bunk at a show in Denver. It's coated. It's a reddish brown or reddish black. The discloisite can be both red and black. In this case, it appears to be a red overcoat on the underlying black, with this being an all black. A really spectacular piece of the classic discloisite as well. What's most unusual here is this piece is a Couperin discloisite. If you look at it, that's this piece in the photograph. It almost looks as if it's botanical, with the stems of plants and a cattails kind of heads, but that's all discloisite. Most unusual piece. This is an unusual pseudomorph. It's discloisite after vanadinite. So you've got these very long, deeply louvered vanadinite crystals that created the form that pseudomorphed into the discloisite material, which is really weird oddity. It's very, very different. I'm really fond of that piece. It's very heavy. That's a heavy material. This smithsonite, I want to point out, is both Gail's and my favorite. Certainly of our smaller pieces. It's got all little fingers. It's absolutely bright, colorless smithsonite in a habit that I've never seen before. That Gloria has asked us to have photographed to consider inclusion in the upcoming smithsonite book. So we're going to make a point of having that done to try and get that in the book. So that's a real fun piece. We'll move on to the next case. These are all mostly gem crystals, really. They're a variety of minerals from the Rift Valley region of Eastern Europe, predominantly Tanzania, but there's some things from Kenya in here, and Zimbabwe and Zambia and so forth. This tanzanite is one of the larger ones, certainly, that we've seen. It's a significant crystal that is truly trichroic. As dark as it is, it obviously has not been heat treated because it still has a very strong red face on the C-axis. So that's the way to test that. And on edge, it's just a brilliant violet, a deep purple color. So you've got a very dark blue in one direction, a wonderful vibrant purple in another, and a stop sign red looking down the C-axis. Is a really spectacular crystal. This top face on angle is 9 centimeters across, is from bottom to top on that. Just a wonderful crystal. This piece with the tanzanite gemstone as kind of a cut and rough is actually more spectacular in terms of color. this crystal is truly gem quality. And with a flashlight such as what I'm holding in my hand, I like to call that my party rock. I'll have that in my pocket and I'll pull it out when things get kind of dull, and I'll hold the flashlight under it. It just blows people away because of the vibrance of the three colors on all three sides. It's a wonderful piece. This is a really deep blue topaz from Zambia, of all things. There was a unique find in what's called the St. Anne mine. This label is actually slightly mismarked, but there was in fact a pocket found of blue topaz briefly in that part of the world. We managed to snag one of those. There's a brilliant gem quality Tsavorite, makes a wonderful, I'm tempted to call it teal green gem quality crystal from Tanzania. That's also a tanzanite behind it. This little tiny sparkler beside it as a gemstone is not atypical. It's rare to find something big enough like that to have a sizable crystal. Some wonderful gemmy diopside in the back here, a couple of tourmalines, some of the more recent bright orange garnet spessartines both here, and some larger ones over there. This is actually one of those spessartines. The orange elongated mineral is actually kyanite. It's been tested as spessartine on kyanite in this case, which is most unusual. It's a very striking combination, and some interesting prenites here, which is what this is. I'm looking for one of these pieces in here. It's been twisted, but there's a tanzanite underneath a prenite in one of these pieces, and I'm not spotting it right out front. I think it's that one that's been turned around. This is our Madagascar case, which is predominantly pizzatite, that rarity that few people have, is what fills our case here. As I'd indicated in earlier comments, the Federico Pizzata had discovered these, and they were named in 2003, and he gave us a personal mineralogical certificate. As you may know, he's the curator of the Milan Natural Science Museum, and is one of the foremost analysis labs in Europe for testing and determining the exact mineralogy and chemistry of things. So we have a certificate of that analysis and his description of the find. For example, this piece he calls one of the very largest pizzatite crystals ever found in Madagascar, and therefore in the world. It's 55 millimeters across. This piece, in fact, is photographed in the Herschel book of minerals and localities that's for sale on the table right behind us there. That's the example used for pizzatite. And this particular vug is very, very large. In fact, it's the largest pocket of mineral pizzatite on matrix that they ever found. Interesting story, the shorthand version of it is the white matrix that this is in. They had to pull out diamond saws to saw this off. It turned out it was solid beryl. So they had a beryl matrix to cut through to get it down to size to be handleable, with these pink beryl crystals growing on it, which was fascinating. There's a variety of other minerals here. Some of these crystals are actually orange. They're not pink at all. So there's an orange variety, or at least variant of this mineral. It's fascinating stuff. Here's an example of not only a gemstone cut from the material that just kind of glows. That's a 6-carat gem with an example of the hexagonal pizzatite beside it, and we have turned one on edge, and you can see the purple glow from it on the edge side, looking at it in that manner.
Speaking of glow,
and here's some glow. Talking glow, this titanite is this Spann, as the jewelers would call it. The Spann has the brilliance that is higher than diamond, so it throws colors far more spectacularly than diamond. And this is a 76-carat gemstone that was cut from a crystal out of Madagascar that we had asked Herb and Moni Abota to look for a good large stone, and right out of the box they found this for us a year ago in Tucson. It's just an incredible piece. The GIA spotted it in Herb's case before we arrived, and Learned it had already been sold to us, but they had their special cameras brought in and did a gem photograph of this, and that was featured as the first photograph in their Tucson show review. The next Gems and Gemology magazine, you can find a photo of this piece in that magazine.